Younger people of Reddit. What are you tired of hearing from older generations? I'm an older millennial. I have a good job, own a house, am married, and have 2 kids. It is 2022 and at least half the times I hear someone older reference millennials, it's talking about people who are currently the age my cohort was 22 years ago when the millennium was a thing. Excuses for the fact that they haven't learned anything new since they were 30. Like bro, come on, computer's been around for 30 years at the very least and you still don't know how to use one? The only excuse that you have is laziness. I'm a young female software developer. Every old man at my job tells me in detail what computers were like when they were young. It's always the same story. I know about your giant computers and their punch cards. Please stop. Older folks constantly trying to tell anybody younger than them that they don't know what getting old is. 35-year-old, damn. I'm starting to feel more tired in the morning and feel a little more sore after exercise than I used to. 55-year-old, you think you're old. You're not old. I'm old. You think that's old? Well, wait till you get to be as old as I am. And hashtag X200B. It's like they pride themselves on being older and more sore than you and want to put you in your place for even suggesting you notice a difference in your body because of aging. I'm 64 and I'm really tired of listening to people my age whine about stuff that younger people do. Asterisk, it definitely was not better when we were kids. Asterisk, a phone isn't that fangy hard to figure out. Asterisk, it's not that nobody talks anymore, it's just that nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody wants to work anymore, this generation coming up is so lazy. Fuck off. Nobody wants to be a slave anymore while these billionaires go to space while a lot of us can't even afford basic needs. You should really buy a house and settle down. I'm bloody well trying, Karen. Just cause you bought your house in the 60s for $40K and a blueberry off your husband's salary, whilst you were a stay-at-home mom, then sold it for $600K this year to retire off of, doesn't mean that it's the same for this generation. Right now. Far from it, in fact. Just shut up. Basically anything talking about how kids these days don't want to work, have it so easy, are so radical with their beliefs and appearance, etc. It's also kind of crazy too that almost every generation when they reach young adulthood going back quite literally thousands of years has had old people saying that about them. And every time the old people somehow forgot it was also said about them. I mean, the boomers were the hippies, they received all that same stuff they're now throwing at millennials and Gen Z. And then you get the economic stuff they often throw out, which is just false, like if I could pay for college you can. Just not acknowledging how much of that equation has changed. And then the participation trophies. These are such a ridiculous thing. Yes, we millennials got participation trophies when we were 5. They act like we choose to give these to ourselves rather than them choosing to give them to us. When you're older you'll agree with me. FFS, just because you're older doesn't mean you're always right or that you know the answers to all my life's problems. You grew up in a different time period, with different problems, and different social views. Your problems might be similar, and you might be right some of the time, but that is no excuse to shut down every logical point I make against your beliefs with this line. How sensitive we are. I made a comment on a YouTube video calling a gay couple cute and some frickin' boomer stalked my YouTube channel and felt the need to insult me several times. Like I'm not the sensitive one in this situation. As a 29-year-old, tired of older people telling me I'll understand joint pain, tiredness when I'm older. I'm disabled and chronically ill. I have had bad joints since birth. Like it's great that all your health problems are a result of your age, but mine have been around and will worsen because of that. Young people are high-minded because they have not yet been humbled by life, nor have they experienced the force of circumstances. They think they know everything, and are always quite sure about it. I'll let you make a guess what generation that quote came from. Truthfully, life would be better if we stopped our complaining about generations, younger and older. We live our lives through the lenses of our generation. Our generational hardships are those of our own. The only thing you can do is strive to be better than your own generation, so the next generation can see you as the exception to the rule for whichever bad thing your generation will be known for. That our generation is soft. I was born in the late 90s, so I've never experienced the America they love to reminisce about. I've only known an America that's post 9/11, constantly in a state of war, suffering from financial crashes and recessions, unsustainable housing, And now we've been through a deadly pandemic as well as the most civil unrest we've seen in the past decade or so. With the potential of war on the horizon given the Ukraine invasion, I really just want to punch any old person in the mouth when they say we're weak-minded and unprepared. I think we've earned our stripes and then some at this point. They're so judgmental and rude. I'm a restaurant worker and I swear young people are way more polite and easygoing while older people have zero patience, even though they're the ones who are already retired. Oftentimes make racist, sexist, homophobic and body-shaming comments and still act like they're above the younger generation simply because they've been alive for longer. I'm sick of hearing about them about participation trophies. I got one in middle school and was told to appreciate that I got it. I didn't want it. I knew that I hadn't done anything to deserve a trophy. It went into a drawer and was forgotten. People love complaining about how participation trophies have ruined children when it was the adults that decided to hand them out. How idiotic is it to basically say, here's your award for existing, followed by, you frickers need to be awarded for just existing, in nearly the same breath? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work harder. Buddy. I've been working 60+ hours a week and prices keep going up and my pay is not, and I actually cannot afford to change jobs, change my living situation, buy a more fuel-efficient car, or go to college. There actually is no out. There is no work harder and I'll make it. I'm literally in the poverty trap. I'm slowly making my way out of it, but it's going to be a long-ass time unless some other opportunity magically appears. College isn't the price of a McDouble anymore, old man. Anything to the effect of, young people can't have back pain, or any other physical disability. Like, dude, I wish being in my 20s made me immune to being injured. But that's literally just not how the human body works. I hate how we've gone from me getting Facebook as a teenager and my parents be like, don't believe everything you see on the internet, to them sending me medical research from unverified/unreputable sources. I don't work hard enough, I've been employed as long as I've legally been able to work, balancing up to 3 jobs at a time, but, sure. I'm old. I.e., too old to be loved, tons of problems with that. But also, I'm 31. That's not old. I expect too much, yeah. Decent pay, decent and affordable housing. Totally a spoiled brat. I'm immature because I don't want bio children. I'd argue it's a sign of my maturity that I know myself well enough to not have kids. My standards in relationships are too high, not to be abused by partners/friends/employers, if that's high bar. I'm speechless. I'm 30, so I'm definitely a bit on the older side already. But it annoys me to no end when old people tell me housing prices will go down eventually. You've been saying that for the past 20 years. Through several global economic collapses and a pandemic. If a severe case of people dying en masse won't drive down housing prices, I don't know what the frick will.